So, what happens if Iran and Israel actually go to war? Well, we're not talking about what if anymore. It's already happening. Right now, the Middle East is on fire, and the world is watching in fear.
In the last 72 hours, Israel has come under the heaviest aerial assault in its history.
For years, Iran's nuclear program has been the center of global tension. Tehran insists it's for peaceful energy, but Israel's not buying it. That's why just days ago, something huge happened. In a bold, high-risk move, Israel launched a wave of airstrikes deep inside Iran, sending more than 50 fighter jets to target nuclear centrifuge sites, missile factories, and strategic command centers in cities like Tehran and Tabriz. And Iran responded with full force, firing ballistic and hypersonic missiles at Israeli cities. Some were shot down by Israel's Iron Dome, but not all. Several missiles made an impact. Civilians were injured, some were killed. And just like that, decades of quiet threats turned into open war. So now the big question is, where is this heading? There are a few different paths this could take. Let's break them down, starting with the one that honestly everyone is hoping for. First, the limited strike scenario. This is where things don't spiral completely out of control. Israel keeps launching focused, surgical airstrikes aimed only at Iran's nuclear program and missile systems. The goal here is to knock out Iran's ability to build a nuclear weapon without turning the whole region into a battlefield. So far, Israel claims they've already taken out a huge chunk of Iran's missile launchers and put serious dents in their nuclear infrastructure. And they've got air superiority too, flying over Tehran like they own the skies. Here's the issue: Iran's toughest nuclear sites are buried deep underground, too deep for Israel's bombs. Only US bunker busters can reach them. Without American help, Iran rebuilds quietly, and this limited strike becomes a countdown to the next war. Which brings us to the second, and honestly more likely outcome, regional war. Here's where things really start to unravel. Iran doesn't just rely on its own army. It has a whole network of allies and proxy groups across the Middle East, Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq and Syria, and even the Houthis down in Yemen. If Iran gives the signal, all of them could launch coordinated attacks on Israel from multiple directions. Imagine rockets flying in from the north, drone strikes from Syria, and chaos along the Gaza border all at once. That kind of pressure would stretch Israel's defenses thin, and we've seen before just how brutal these proxy wars can get. And it wouldn't stop there. US troops stationed in Iraq and Syria could get caught in the crossfire. Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, who have their own issues with Iran, might feel forced to take sides. The region would light up in all directions. Now, if that happens, we start heading into nightmare territory, global escalation, which is the worst scenario. And sadly, it's not far-fetched. If this regional war grows, global powers will be forced to respond. The United States is already backing Israel politically and militarily. American bases in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf are on high alert. If one of them is hit, whether by accident or on purpose, the US could get pulled directly into the war. At the same time, Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, longtime rivals of Iran, might quietly support Israel or even allow military operations from their territory. That would turn them into targets too. Iran could then strike oil infrastructure, ports, or shipping lanes. If they block the Strait of Hormuz, where 1 in 5 barrels of oil passes through, global oil prices would spike overnight. The world economy would feel it instantly. And don't forget about Russia and China. They've supported Iran in the past, especially when it comes to pushing back against the West. If they step in diplomatically, or worse, militarily, this becomes more than a Middle East war. It becomes a global crisis. But here's the part that often gets lost in the headlines: the human cost. People in Tehran are lining up for food and living in the dark. In Israel, families are stuck in bomb shelters. Kids aren't going to school. Gaza and the West Bank are getting worse. This isn't just about war, it's about real people living in fear. And right now, there's no end in sight. So what happens if Iran and Israel go to war? It's already started. The real question now is, does it stop here or explode into a global crisis no one can control? What are your thoughts on it? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe to our channel for more updates on this ongoing situation. Source videos from here, and you can also check other social media platforms.